What's up everyone, we're back for some more Gundam Evolution gameplay, this time playing as our newly released suit, Susanowo, or as others have been calling him, Susan, Sus, or Owo. A lot of goofy shortenings of the name, which is kind of unfortunate because I don't like saying Susanowo a lot because it starts to sound like a tongue twister to me, and maybe that's just me, but it is our first non-Gundam new mobile suit added to the game since launch. Devs had said they were planning on doing that, but they finally made true on that, and we have gotten a non-Gundam new suit. Also our fourth Melee, and as you guys probably know by this point, since I talk about it in every video where I'm playing a Melee suit, but they're not typically my style of play. I usually kind of struggle with them, but honestly, looking at Susanowo when they were revealed, I thought maybe it'd be a little bit different. You know, you kind of have these multitude of ranged attacks, which, you know, it's not a constant ranged attack like Exia has, but you have, you know, two abilities to attack at range and also the dash to get in, but you are also very combo based, which I can't say is exactly the type of style I really like either, because, you know, Barb is kind of that, although it's not really, I guess, the combo part that I struggle with the Barb, it's the starting the combo part that I usually struggle with. So I thought it wasn't going to be too tough for me, but going into my first few matches, definitely quickly learned that it was not going to be as easy as I hoped, but I think I've finally started to kind of get the hang of him. I had actually been enjoying playing him a lot, and I do pretty well in this game, even though we start off a little bit rusty here. I do think this first area is probably not the best for him either, you know, crossing this large open area. Not the best for someone who doesn't have a lot of range in their attacks. But as far as overall strength goes, Susanowo seems strong. Not quite as, you know, crazy strong as you may have thought from the previews. I think there's a little bit of the same issue as New Gundam felt. And we were looking at those early previews, you know, we saw the funnel damage for New Gundam. I was like, wow, that's absolutely crazy. You know, you just fire those funnels out and it does, like, all of a suit's HP and they're just dead. And we kind of saw that with the beam chakram, I think, with Susanowo. But they both have the same, kind of the same issue where, you know, New Gundam's funnels, if you move, their tracking is pretty bad, so they actually don't end up doing much damage. And with beam chakram, it's got a pretty small hitbox, takes a bit to charge, and you're not gonna even get those guaranteed second hits for that slow if people are really moving. So even with the Trans Am version with that 800 damage, gonna be pretty tough to get all of that. But it can happen, you know, especially on bigger suits, stuff like Sazabi, even though he does have a little bit more mobility with his faster boost gauge recharge. We are getting a couple kills here coming in. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the Trans Am so that we can see if I can get this big beam chakram, but they're all lined up. That's actually really good damage. Land that dash and that tri-puncture through the whole group as well, and I started to get a little bit ahead of myself after that big triple kill there, and I got a little bit greedy on that Jim. You saw I actually did miss the beam chakram on him, because that would have been a straight up kill. You know, 800 damage, it does go through shields, would have killed that Jim, but did not work out there. But decent Trans Am, even if I got a little ahead of myself. The high speed attack is very good, especially in that Trans Am form, because you get two of them and a faster cooldown. I guess part of the problem, though, with him that's kind of keeping him in check, and I guess I've kind of already touched on a little bit with the Beam Chakram, but it's just the fact that you kind of need Beam Chakram to start your fights, because if you're not using it to start your fights, you're missing out on some damage, even if you don't get the 2 hits, you know, the 200 is still nice. But if you don't use it to start your fights, it's hard to find a time to use it. It's really awkward to use when you're, like, in a fight surrounded by people, and you're not just, you know, peeking around a corner and charging it before you see anyone. Because it's just, it takes a while to charge, and if you're trying to be really precise when you launch it, it can be pretty easy to accidentally melee before it's fully charged, which the charge starts going back down. You've meleeed in place, doing kind of nothing, and right here we're going to kind of see it. So I've got my beam chakram up, try and fire right there, but I left-clicked a little too early and canceled it, and then I was just standing there with nothing going on, and my other abilities weren't quite up yet, so I kind of got outplayed by that gun tank there. But yeah, I think if you can kind of have it pre-charged and go into a fight with it, and as long as you land those hits, and then you can go for Beam Chakram into Tri-Punisher and then the high-speed attack, but personally I feel like that gives them too much time to react, even if you land both and get double slow. I think it's better to go for Beam Chakram if you can, try and land those hits, go in with the high-speed attack, and then it gets a little bit dicey after that, because since you pass through people with the high-speed attack, compared to something like Exia's charge, which stops on people and stuns them, you can very easily lose sight of the person you're attacking. So I usually like to turn around if I'm not directly on top of them and fire out the Tri-Punisher to get a second slow. It also gives me some time to kind of figure out exactly where they're standing, since that ability has a little bit of a cast time before it fires. And then after landing that second slow, if they're still not dead, then I try and go in for the melees. And that's, you know, that's probably the weakest part of the kit. The regular melees are pretty bad. I think you saw earlier when I was fighting a gun tank around the waypoint for the first point, I did get behind him and I was knocking him kind of into a wall. That was good. But if you're chasing after someone, like you're desperate to get that final little bit of damage after landing your full combo, you didn't get the kill, then the knockback from your weapons, it doesn't feel great. And it's only, you know, 150 damage for each hit on... You swing both weapons, so it's 300 total if you land both hits, but it's not a great amount of damage. Right there, I get that opening on that Gundam, go in and just slash him. And it's just, it's so satisfying when you land the combo. It's just, sometimes you fall short of the kill, and it's really sad. Right here, get the double slow, barely alive, and see there, I couldn't even get the melee, someone else had to finish him off. And I'm waiting for the heal, and that Gundam gets me. Not sure if it was a case of the larger bullets there or what. I feel like I kind of got shut around the wall, maybe ping playing it as well. But everything in the kit definitely feels a lot better in Trans Am. I feel like Trans Am is really strong. That passive is also really strong, but I've actually had some bugs with it. There's been a few occasions where I kill someone and I don't actually get any armor, so not sure exactly what causes that. I think it may be due to going down and getting repaired before that, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to look into that more. But right there you can see I did my thing where I got the slow the beam chakram, charge in, gonna take one flying past me, and then I hit him with that Tri-Punisher as he's flying away to get the finish. Or I guess not flying away, wooing away with that shorter charge distance. But I've got Trans Am available again, waiting a little bit for people to start coming in. So I had to pop it here because I heard one person coming. Yeah, there goes that beam chakram missing. Couldn't even hit the Tri-Punisher either, but then they're coming over here. That's a big beam chakram. You get the slash. You can really see how landing that beam chakram really changes things a lot. It's just so much damage, especially in that Trans Am. Once we were able to get it there, we were able to get a good team kill and clean up for round 1. Going into round 2 here, we're gonna have to see Susanowo fares on the defense. We are in the big open area for the waypoint again, so it may be kind of tough. But as long as I'm at kind of a middle range there, I can throw out some damage. Did manage to poke that gun tank who got finished off. Unfortunately, it did get repaired. But yeah, beam chakram's distance actually isn't too bad. And Tri-Punisher, I think, basically goes forever until it collides with something. So as long as you don't need a ton of damage, it can be pretty good too. It also has piercing. It does not go through shields. I initially thought that it did when they talked about the piercing thing. Beam Chakram does, but Tri-Punisher does not. Right here, speaking of Beam Chakram, I'm used it to get through that dynamic, a little bit of shield he still had. You can see how that was a little bit awkward there. I had to kind of wait for Beam Chakram to charge again. Thankfully, I still had pretty much full HP. And right there, I missed both my abilities, and without those slows, I'm in a bit of a pickle. Just dash up here to that health pack, but still can't get around the corner. And yeah, I think you kind of live or die by whether you can land that combo, because so much changes. You get the slows, you get the damage, and if you get the kill, you get the armor. So it's very all or nothing, and those abilities aren't like crazy hard to land, but they're not easy either, especially if you're fighting a smaller, more mobile suit. But right there in that gun tank, I really should have landed him. That was kind of on me. But another thing I want to talk about with Susanowo, I don't think I've mentioned yet, is with high-speed attack, it seems like it has bigger collision than Exia's kind of charge slash. Something with Exia's slash is that if you kind of collide with a wall at an angle, you'll ride the wall a bit and get around it and you can still hit people. It's actually a strategy that high-level Exia players will use sometimes, because you can kind of stay behind the wall still, so you can't get shot at, you know, hit with a hammer or a hook unless they time it really well. And then you let go, you hit the wall, you slide around it, and then you hit them, and there's not really a lot they can do unless they just totally back up out of the range of it. And I'm not the best at doing that with Exia, to be fair, so I can't say I've been doing it the same way with Susanowo, but I did try a couple times to kind of hit a wall a little bit on the edge to get around it, and it seems like he stops on it. And I don't know if that's just because the dash itself has different properties, or if it's because he's bigger, maybe a combination of both. But that can be kind of rough. I've noticed it too when, like, if there's a slant in front of me, sometimes I'll just hit the ground and I won't go anywhere. So that can be pretty frustrating if you screw up your dash like that. So definitely watch out for that when you're not fighting on a flat surface, because that's the big one. Hitting a wall stinks, but the biggest one is if you just, like, dash into the ground in front of you. That really sucks. Right here, I'm going a little bit of a solo play there. Almost let that sniper get the health pack. I do think that Susanowo is probably closer to the melee Zaku type of role than the Exia or Barb or even Zaku ranged, where you're better fighting with a team, kind of like that brawler, because your combo does a lot of damage, but sometimes it falls a little bit short, so a little bit of extra damage to help you out there. And if you keep killing, you're all fighting as a group, you know, you keep getting that armor. Even right there, you can see just the team being able to distract a little bit allowed me to get off a little bit more. Yeah, definitely don't want to push out too far there. Because once your high-speed attack is gone, you're pretty immobile. Right there. Actually worked out pretty well. I think that Marsai still could have killed me, but when he did hook me, he was standing in my beam chakram, so I did get the double hits. Slowed him a bit there. Now I'm going to get revenge on him there. I got a little bit of armor to help me get out. The armor does go down pretty fast, but I think if you really are in like a big fight, you'll still get enough of it where it will make a difference. I'm still just kind of waiting for them to come in, picking off people where I can, but I do have Trans Am available when they eventually push all together. This might be the chance here. Heavy Arms goes for Junior. I just dashed straight through him, which is really nice, but unfortunately the rest of my team, since it doesn't stun on that, the rest of my team still got hit by it a bit, and they had to back up, which allowed Marsai to kind of run in and take me out. And I think they even got the repair on the Heavy Arms as well. We're still holding okay, though. It's Marsai still getting hooks, but he's going to go down. And they did get the plant up top. Not a lot of time left. And now that we're kind of fighting in this back area more, I'm happy that I no longer have to push into them as much. To take out there, Susanowo. Got a sniper down there. Decided to pop Trans Am, even though there's really no one around, because if I'm not going to use it now, when am I going to use it? Get that double slash quickly. Should get the regular melee. Did miss my Tri-Punisher. I'm still going. Pretty big beam check on there. I think I got like 3 hits. But then, like I said, when I dash through people, I lose sight of them. I was trying to find them to land that Tri-Punisher, but I couldn't. But either way, they were not able to get back upstairs, or really downstairs, to get a plant. And that's going to be the end of the match. Unfortunately, no MVPs for Susanowo yet. Still been trying for that. Got close. There's one game where I felt like I was doing really well, and then it kind of all fell apart and didn't manage to get there. But at least I got on the board with that damage card there. I think I got silver damage overall, which I'm pretty happy with, especially with my usual nature of being terrible with these melee suits. Yeah, overall, I think Susanowo is pretty strong. I don't think he's as universally a menace as people perhaps feared due to his kind of big size and ability to shoot him. And he's really reliant on landing that count. But I think with the right team that plays with him, he can kind of pop off. So that could be pretty scary. But as always, though, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. How have you felt playing as him, fighting against him? Do you feel like he is really as strong as we feared? Or do you think maybe not so much of a big deal? Either way, that's going to be it for me. Thanks everyone for watching. If you want to see more, you can always catch me live on Twitch. Or stay tuned here on YouTube for more videos. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.